Welcome to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're joining us today because, well, we're diving into something that literally affects every single one of us, our food supply. For generations, farming has been this incredible practice passed down through families, right? Relying heavily on intuition, keen observation, and the predictable rhythms of nature. But as we all know, nature isn't exactly as predictable as it used to be. Today, we're exploring a fascinating project that asks a really vital question. How can artificial intelligence step in to save and completely transform the way we grow our food? We're going to unpack a groundbreaking project called AgriGenius. It's an intelligent farm management and predictive crop analytics platform, and it is essentially bringing the raw power of deep learning right down to the grassroots level of agriculture. I want you to just think about this for a second. What actually happens when traditional farming intuition meets modern climate chaos? It's a scary thought. Ancestral farmers could once literally look up at the sky, feel the dirt in their hands, and know exactly what to plant for the coming season. But with global warming and these wild, erratic shifts in our climate, those old seasonal methods, they're failing. Crops are getting washed out, precious resources are being wasted, and yields are dropping. The stakes literally couldn't be higher. We desperately need a way to bring the care of traditional agriculture back, but matched with the absolute precision of modern technology. So here's our roadmap for the explainer today. First, we'll look at the farming guesswork problem. Then we'll enter the world of AgriGenius. After that, we'll dive into crop classification using random forest and price forecasting with LSTM. Finally, we'll wrap up with the real-world application and what the future of farming holds for all of us. All right, Section 1, the farming guesswork problem. Okay, let's dive right into this. Traditional agriculture relies heavily on farmer intuition, local knowledge, and those static seasonal methods we just talked about. And hey, when it works, it's great. But today, this guesswork often results in suboptimal yields and just flat-out incorrect crop selection because the environment is changing way too fast. Now, you might be wondering, wait, don't we already have farm tech for this? Well, yeah, we do, but existing tech systems are incredibly rigid. They're heavily rule-based, they use these static lookup tables that just match basic soil types to a predetermined list of crops. They absolutely cannot adapt to dynamic climate changes. Plus, they're super fragmented. A farmer has to go to one app to check the weather, another app for crop info, and then they have to guess the market prices entirely on their own. It's a mess. Which brings us to Section 2. Enter the AgriGenius platform. This is where things get really exciting. AgriGenius is this incredible, intelligent farm management and predictive crop analytics platform. It dynamically centralizes everything a farmer needs to actually maximize their return on investment. We're talking core features like not just recommending a crop based on nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and weather, but actually estimating your exact yield percentage. Then it uses AI to forecast future crop prices so you know for sure what's going to be profitable. On top of all that, it maps out real-time seed purchase locations so you know exactly where to go buy your supplies. And get this, it even features intelligent defaults for beginners who might not know their soil's exact chemical makeup. It is a total game changer. Now, what's really interesting here is the massive shift from conventional to smart agriculture. Just consider the entire system architecture flow: observation, decision-making, and execution. Traditionally, a farmer observes their land, uses their gut and expertise to make a decision, and then relies on manual labor to execute it. Well, AgriGenius completely upgrades this entire loop. The observation phase, that becomes data inputs, stuff like soil type, nutrients, climate. The decision-making is completely handed over to advanced deep learning algorithms. And the execution becomes this incredibly clear, actionable dashboard telling the farmer exactly what to do step by step. It's literally taking raw field observations and translating them into high-level digital execution. Moving right along, Section 3. Crop classification and the random forest algorithm. So to actually recommend a crop, AgriGenius uses a seriously powerful machine learning algorithm called random forest. Think of it kind of like this. Instead of asking just one farming expert for advice, which, could easily lead to a biased or just plain wrong answer, you ask an entire army of experts. That's basically what random forest does. First, it uses something called bootstrap aggregating, or bagging, to create all these random subsets of the agricultural data. Second, it grows individual decision trees based on those subsets, with each tree looking at totally different random features. Finally, when a new farm profile is entered into the system, all these independent trees cast a vote. The crop with the most votes wins. It totally democratizes the prediction and pretty much eliminates individual errors. Let's just follow the logic here for a second. The original dataset, which contains parameters like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, the soil type, and the season, is split up into smaller samples. The decision trees process all this data completely independently. So, if tree 1 predicts Class A, tree 2 predicts Class A, and tree 3 predicts Class B, the majority voting system aggregates all of this to output a final, solid prediction of Class A. But in AgriGenius, this doesn't just spit out one single crop recommendation. It actually uses probability estimates to rank a whole list of suitable crops, along with their exact yield percentages. It's incredibly thorough. Next up, Section 4, Price Forecasting with LSTM. Now, to forecast market prices, AgriGenius relies on LSTM, which stands for Long Short-Term Memory. It's a highly specialized type of recurrent neural network. Here's the crucial thing to understand. Traditional neural networks have a really hard time remembering information from a long time ago. But market prices? They absolutely rely on historical trends. So LSTM solves this problem by introducing what's called a memory cell. Think of it as a container that holds on to important information for a much more extended period of time. It actively learns the long-term pricing trends while completely filtering out all the short-term, irrelevant market noise. And the way this works under the hood is brilliant. The network regulates information using these specific gates, and you can really think of them like bouncers at an exclusive club. The input gate uses a sigmoid function to filter out useless noise and decide what new pricing data is actually valuable enough to add to the cell state. Then, the output gate comes in and extracts the most relevant, synthesized information to produce the final, highly accurate price forecast. It is a beautifully complex system, and the best part is it empowers farmers to confidently plan their sales strategies months in advance. Let's bring this all together in Section 5, the real-world application. Let's look at how this builds out in a couple of fascinating test scenarios. In Scenario 1, you have an expert farmer who inputs that they have clay soil, it's monsoon season, and they provide their exact nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium levels. Boom! The system instantly recommends rice, promising a 71% yield and predicting a market price of over 2,000 rupees. That's great, right? But my absolute favorite feature is Scenario 2. An inexperienced user comes in. They have zero knowledge of their soil's chemical levels, so they just type in zeros for all of them. They only know they have loamy soil and that it's winter. Well, because of those intelligent defaults we mentioned earlier, the system doesn't just crash or give up. It actually analyzes the context and still gives a life-changing prediction. It tells them to grow oranges for a massive 94% yield. How amazing is that? And AgriGenius doesn't just leave the farmer hanging after giving a prediction. It completely finishes the agricultural cycle. Once the AI tells the farmer to grow oranges or rice, a built-in module maps out exactly where to go buy those specific seeds. It gives you the state, the district, the exact market name, and, this is crucial, even the maximum price data to completely prevent price gouging. It is a completely consolidated, incredibly user-friendly platform that requires virtually zero technical expertise to navigate. It's just brilliant. Finally, let's move to Section 6, the future of farming. You know, the research beautifully summarizes its own core thesis with this quote: AgriGenius bridges the gap between technological advancement and grassroots-level farming needs. By taking highly complex algorithms like random forest and LSTM and brilliantly packaging them into a simple predictive crop analytics platform, it completely empowers farmers to minimize their losses and absolutely maximize their return on investment. It proves that, yes, we actually can dynamically adapt to these massive climate shifts. This isn't just another flashy app. It is a sustainable, highly profitable roadmap for the era of smart agriculture. Which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to ponder. Farming is one of humanity's oldest, most fundamental survival skills, and we are literally watching it be completely revolutionized by data right before our eyes. So, as AI continues to completely remove the guesswork from agriculture, what other ancient survival skills will data transform next? It really makes you wonder just how different the world is going to look a decade from now. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and I will catch you on the next explainer.